Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. If you come across this, you're meant to see today. We have very intense energies on this planet today. And I want to let you know that old energies are clearing, new energies entering, and great things are coming into your life. So for a moment, just acknowledge that you're here and that you can give things time, that you don't need to be impatient for anything because your presence is infinite patience. This is who you are. You're in this moment, the infinite being having a very beautiful human experience that's sometimes painful and hard, but you are not the pain and you're not the hard things and moments. It's where you get lost, right? So, my friend, give things time. Don't let instant gratification make you forget how much is already happening in your favor. Just because you don't see it instantly doesn't mean great things aren't on the way or in the works for you. Be patient, be faithful, and keep believing into yourself. My friend, how are you doing today? How are you doing? A great author, Robin Sharma, once said, "I'm spending days on activities that advance me along the path to my legacy." So sometimes we indulge ourselves in what's falling apart and in what is not going right. And we get lost in it and we start blaming ourselves, or we start hurting because we don't see results we would like to see. And then, at the right moment, something clicks and life changes. And you say, oh, I've been wasting so much of my precious time worrying about the things that eventually worked out. So as the new energy is coming into your life, with it, great things are coming. And your job is to notice the flow that's happening right now. Don't be so stuck in worry. Don't be so stuck in sadness. Rise up. You see, neuroscience has discovered there are two extremes that can be experienced in our brain. So when we're thinking too much about what's happening, we experience an extreme state that's called fear. When we think much less about what's happening, we kind of detach from the activities around us and we experience the opposite extreme, which is called love. That is a beautiful discovery because we recognize, okay, so if I really want to be more in love with life, I need to think less about what's happening. So how to do that, right? This is a great challenge for many people. How can I be more in flow state? How can I be more in joyful state? Well, I need to think less and do more, right? I need to think less and be more. Well, how can we do that if we're habitually living our lives in survival, in worry, in sadness, in fighting, in stress? How can we do that? Well, it's actually quite easy. It's easy when you know the formula. So the question is, how are you choosing to live your life? Your brain focuses on where your attention goes. So that's what you're thinking most of the time. If you start your day by scrolling on the phone, guess what you will feel? Everything that's coming into you. So the magic happens when you choose to live by your day by choice, right? When you choose to live your day by choice and you say, okay, right now I will choose a moment of quietness so I can recalibrate myself. And as you start recalibrating yourself, you choose your day. You don't live a random experience. You choose your day. And you don't get lost in doing. It's better if you get lost in being. So, my friend, as the new energy is entering your life, with it, great things are coming to you. But I want you to see them. Like sometimes a very easy thing may help you to see them. Like before you start doing anything, you just close your eyes and you give an intention You can give an intention to your guide, to your spirit guides, or to God or universe, whatever is your thing. Just say, please, show me this, whatever sign resonates with you. Maybe white feather, or a random coin, or a song, or something that resonates with you. Give me this sign that I will know that I am protected and that I am on the right path. Even if it's mystical to you, maybe too mystical, maybe you don't believe this stuff, doesn't matter. Give it a try and see. Sometimes a confirmation may give you a sense to keep up exploring the mystical. Don't get too lost in your own identity, because as physics and quantum physics have discovered, we are living in a non-local universe, non-local mind, which means it's undefined, it's infinite, it's so vast that we can't even notice how big it is. We can't even comprehend how infinite it is. And we only experience what we focus on. So if we're only focusing on what we're constantly focusing on, we'll be only experiencing what we're often experiencing. So to experience something new means to focus on something new, right? And how can we do that? Well, what is something you would like to do and you've never done before? Or something that you feel like you don't have enough time because your life is so busy? Well, make it less busy. And I know it may sound to some of you very tricky, like I have family to take care of, I have a job, I have so many things to do, and I have so little time. Well, at some point, if you will not start managing your life differently, your life will manage you the way that you will not be able to stand it anymore. So it's just, will we allow ourselves to push ourselves into change, or we will allow life to shift us, to wake us up? That's why we have this challenging wake-up call sometimes. So you've come across this because there's something you need to know, right? As Albert Schweitzer said, there is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good is the greatest creed. But how many times we are doing things just for our good? How many times we are doing things just because we think we should do them? Not thinking, are we really promoting a positive shift with that thing? Are we really making a change in the world with doing that? Or at least a change in our world that if eventually can lead us into a greater change that will be influencing others as well. What about that, my friend? You should be very careful to get out of an experience only the wisdom that is in it. This is the wisdom by Mark Twain, who said, we shouldn't attach ourselves to everything that happens, but only to what it taught us, right? So when you're moving through life and you're carrying with you a backpack of pain and hurts and sorrow and what someone said to you and what someone did to you and what governments did and what happened there and the war that's happening and everything, well, that backpack becomes so heavy that at some point you can't move on anymore. At some point you get stuck, and when you get stuck, it's what's in the backpack that becomes you, right? It consumes you, and suddenly you identify yourself with it, and suddenly you say, look, the world is like that, how can I be happy? Look, that person said to me this, how can I be happy? Look, this happened, how can I be happy? Yes, of course, it's impossible. But your state of happiness depends on what you input into your mind, right? And how you live your life. Happiness is usually the byproduct of a well-lived life. So in these times, it's more important than ever to discover your inner peace and to let go of this backpack that doesn't serve you anymore. This is the new energy coming in, introducing you into a new way of living. So what is a new way of living? A new way of living is living by choice, not by chance. Living by choice, not by chance. choosing a greater life, choosing more coherent experiences, which are experiences that don't trigger as much stress as your old life did. It doesn't mean that you cut anything that kind of triggered stress. It means you learn to manage stress. People who've learned to meditate in their daily life, they are experiencing less stress, they're experiencing less emotional triggers, they experience less sadness and sorrow because they know how to handle them. You know, there's a part of your brain that is being active when you're in emotional reactive state. And this part of your brain was often known as the part of the brain that we have no control over it. And the scientists started measuring the brain's activity of people who are very good in meditation and self-regulation, and they've noticed, okay, also this part of the brain can become coherent when we teach ourselves to be more calm. When we understand that even if we are in this world, we are not of this world. So we don't need to be attached to what's happening. We can just float through it. When someone says something mean to you, just give them a blessing. Maybe something heavy happened to them. Maybe something happened to their kids. Maybe something happened at their job. Give them a blessing and wish them health. Right? Just see how your body's response changes when you stop interacting with the stressful activities on this world and you actually start influencing more blissful and peaceful activities that are happening simultaneously at this world. You've heard about the great split that is happening at this time. So one timeline is leading you into more stress, more chaos, more sorrow, more pain, and another one is leading you into more empowered choices. It is leading you into more harmony. It is leading you into more bliss. It is leading you into more focused state, more blissful state that happens through your action. It happens through you because you've decided to do something that was always speaking to you. Soon you recognize, oh, I'm not here for me, I'm here so that things can flow through me, right? I'm not here for me, I'm not here for this ego self, I'm here so that things can move through myself, right? One great philosophical quote says, "For the greatest thing in the smallest compass is a sound mind in a human body." For the greatest thing in the smallest compass is a sound mind in a human body. So what is a sound mind? So look, it's like there would be a beautiful melody in the air, but only rare people can hear it. Only few people can hear it. You can go outside and most people will be running and jumping around, stressful and anxious. And some people will hear the sound of the birds, the sound of the ocean, the sound of the wind, the sound of a song that's played somewhere in the distance. It's onto what kind of frequency we decide to plug ourselves in. Will we stay in our center or will we stay consumed by the chaos, right? Sometimes it's good to remind yourself that at the end of the skin of your body ends. So if you're a more empathic person, know that you don't need to be connected to everything around you. Sometimes you can only stay connected to you, and it's okay. Like, where the skin of your body ends, that's where your body ends. So if you're constantly, surrounded with negativity and chaos, know that you don't need to indulge yourself into it. Eventually, I would suggest to move out of this kind of environments because no plant can grow at the environments that are not supportive for it, right? That are not supportive for its evolution. And also you can't grow in the environments that are not supportive for you. So that's why it's so important to move out. That's why it's so important to make your place pleasant, to put some beautiful art on the wall, to put some quotes and some, inspiring things around you, some gold, some whatever can remind you of abundance. But most importantly, your inner world needs to be taken care of, right? Your inner world needs to be taken care of. That is a sound mind in a human body. When frequently you slow down and you ask yourself, how am I doing right now? How am I doing? Do I feel abundant or do I feel there's lack in my life? Because lack is an illusion. You see, nothing in this world is in lack except a really bad managed resources. We're very good at that, right? Bad managing of resources. But we can't change what is already present. We can only influence the future by making greater choices. So we can ask ourselves where my service is needed at this time. How my skills and my knowledge can help with it. How can I be of service with my skills and my knowledge? And how can I give what is lacking? How can I give what is lacking? And that will open you up to new ideas. And as Oliver Wendell Holmes said, a mind once stretched by a new idea can never return to its original dimension. And that's called growth, right? You grow, you expand, you stretch yourself. Sometimes the universe will challenge you and test you only so you would discover new ideas that can shift your life. And as so much of new energy is coming in, it's just an invitation for you to open up and ask yourself, how can I be of service with my skills, my talents, my knowledge? And if you feel like your skills, your talents, your knowledge is not sharpened enough yet, then the question is, could you sharpen it? Could you work on it? Is there a book that was calling you for such a long time? Is there a practice that you would like to master? Is there a certain skill you would like to become so good at it that you would forget that you were once bad at it? Right? Can you reflect on this for a moment? That's how you become a part of something bigger than yourself. As Eric Thomas said, being part of something bigger than myself gave me focus and energy. Being part of something bigger than myself gave me focus and energy. You see, so many people are lacking focus and energy because they're only focusing on themselves and they're only focusing on what they would like to have. While the tricky thing in this illusionary matrix is that when you focus on something bigger than you and you ask yourself, how can you impact it? You will get in return anything you ever wanted. When you become a part of something bigger, like creating an impact on this world that will influence more peace, more love, more joy, more bliss, you will get everything that's needed in return. But sometimes you need to take a new approach, right? Sometimes you need to find a new path. So open up to new ideas that are finding you right now. Don't be the one that die unprepared for death because you've never lived a life that was filled with life. In ancient Buddhist traditions, they say to prepare to die means to prepare to live, because a good life will lead into a pleasant transition. So many people are afraid of dying just because they're afraid of this very long, painful process of leaving this world, just because there's so much guilt and so much sadness in their system for the things they've never done, right? So much regrets for the things they've never done. That's why in these ancient teachings, they knew, well, if you want to live a good life, if you want to, have a pleasant transition at the end of your life, live as best as you can, do as much as you can do, give as much as you can give, be of service as much as you can be, shine your light as much as you can, open up and deal with your past through compassion and forgiveness, right? A great mystic, Milarepa, maybe you've heard about him. He said, "My religion is to live and die without regret." My religion is to live and die without regret. So ask yourself right at this moment, is there something you're regretting not doing? And do it as soon as you can. Is there something you're regretting not starting? And start. I know there's a song within you that's still playing and could be expressed. So what you need to get used to is to get used to freedom. Get used to freedom. And allow yourself to be free in expression. That is a very powerful thing you can do. When you talk with your family, be free in expression. Don't care how they will respond, because it will set you free. When you are at your job, set yourself free and say what you mean. Well, if it's something harsh, maybe prepare yourself, because you may lose your job if you will be completely truthful, if it's this kind of a situation. So also make sure that you have a better plan. But make sure that you are just becoming more free, more truthful. That's why it's important to have a plan. So if you're ending a certain chapter, that you know how will you start the next one. And sometimes you just need to set yourself free so great ideas can find you. And for some of you, it's like, how can I set myself free? I'm constantly overthinking, I'm constantly worrying and stressed out. Well, what's a symbol of freedom? Isn't it traveling? Isn't it going to new places? Isn't it reading a new book? Isn't it changing all the routines here and there? Like doing everything completely differently, or taking a completely new road, or maybe even going somewhere without a plan. Seeing that you don't always need to be stuck with a certain idea of how things should be, because that's where the most incredible things happen. Just to think about it a little bit. You see, you need to know yourself to such a degree that you understand what would be the opposite of how you're functioning most of the time. Because if you're a very organized person, then freedom for you would be to here and there just let go of all the plans, let go of all to-do lists, let go of all emails and everything you have to do. And see what happens when you release all of that. Maybe you feel even anxious when you don't have it, which means you would just need more of this kind of moments, because that's where interesting events may find you, right? Don't be so stuck in the known, because the magic happens outside of it, right? So, for the opposite type of people, like people who are more creative, more free, more unorganized, maybe see what happens if you have plans, if you have organized life, if you have some great to-do lists, some very big goals that you don't even know how will you accomplish them, but you strive towards them. And because of that, you find a way that can create a really big change in your life. Just think about this for a moment. Ramakrishna said, if only 1/10 of time that was wasted on nonsense, such as chasing women or men and earning money, was dedicated to spiritual fulfillment, you would be enlightened in a few years. So sure, we can look at this in many different ways. What is spiritual fulfillment? It may be a life of joy. It may be waking up from this matrix. It may be knowing who you are. It may be nurturing your talents and finding wisdom in pain. Whatever it is for you. Like, if you would stop distracting yourself with nonsense and would focus more on what's already meaningful in your life and what can you learn from your own downfalls and how to rise up from the rock bottom like a phoenix, and how to indulge yourself into more meaningful practices, how to stay devoted to truth and knowledge like Rudolf Steiner would say, you will find a whole new path for you that will wake you up to the understanding that it's not what you receive, it's who you are. And when you become all that you can be, you will receive everything you need on this journey. So don't be so stuck on what should find you right now, but recognize what could you create in this moment and get lost in creation. That's when you get into a God mind state, right? You lose yourself in service. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, when you lose yourself in service, you find yourself. So my friends, I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and wonderful, magnificent joy. Let it find you, let it fill your heart, and put that beautiful smile on your face right now, because I see you just look so much more beautiful with it. So my friends, till next time, one love. Hey my friend, I hope you found great value in today's message, and I want to invite you into our freshly created and opened store, AttractPassion.com, where you can find all of my art. So if you found my art inspiring, you can get a copy of it. You can also get some of my original paintings, so go and check it out. You can use the code PASSION15 and you will get 15 off on your first order. I'm also offering one-on-one coaching. So if you feel like you would like to deepen your journey a little bit and you're kinda aligned with my work, you can go and check out the link in the description of this video and book a session. So check it out, and thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community, where you have access to community chat and some exclusive content, some guided workshops, and so much more. So check it out, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you found this video very valuable, share it with a friend. Thank you so much. Let's spread some inspiration, some good energy, and see you in the next one. Much love.